In the year 1605, beneath the grandeur of the Houses of Parliament in London, a conspiracy was brewing. A plot so daring and treacherous that it threatened to change the course of English history. This was the Gunpowder Plot, a scheme devised to obliterate the heart of English governance and kill the king. In a time of religious strife and political turmoil, a group of Catholic conspirators, led by the charismatic Robert Catesby and the infamous Guy Fawkes, planned to strike at the very core of Protestant England. Their target, King James I and the Protestant establishment. The Gunpowder Plot was more than a mere assassination attempt. It was a bold statement against oppression and a fight for religious freedom. The plotters, driven by faith and desperation, sought to end the persecution of Catholics in England by an act of unprecedented magnitude. Join us as we delve into the shadows of this infamous plot. We will explore the political and religious climate of the time, the men behind the conspiracy, their audacious plan, and the legacy of an event. The England of the early 17th century was a land divided by religious strife. The Protestant Reformation, initiated under Henry VIII and furthered by his successors, had severed England from the Catholic Church, creating deep religious and political rifts. The accession of King James I in 1603 brought hopes of tolerance, as he was the son of the Catholic Mary Queen of Scots. Under the reign of Elizabeth I, Protestantism had become firmly entrenched, but the Catholic minority continued to practice their faith in secret. The divide was not just theological, it was a schism that affected every aspect of English life, from politics to personal identity. Catholics in England faced a precarious existence. Penal laws restricted their worship and imposed severe penalties for practicing their faith. Catholic priests were forced underground, and masses were held in secret, as the mere act of being a practicing Catholic was seen as treasonous. The enforcement of these laws was ruthless. Raids on suspected Catholic households were common, and priests were hunted. To be caught meant imprisonment, hefty fines, or worse. The Catholic community lived under a constant shadow of fear and persecution. In this climate of oppression and fear, discontent grew among English Catholics. Many hoped that King James I would be more tolerant given his Catholic lineage, but these hopes were quickly dashed as he continued Elizabeth's policies. Out of this desperation, a radical plan began to take shape. A small group of Catholics, led by Robert Catesby, a charismatic and fervent believer, deeply committed to the Catholic cause. Disillusioned by King James I's continued persecution of Catholics, Catesby conceived a radical plan to overthrow the Protestant establishment. Among the group was Guy Fawkes, a man with military experience and unshakable conviction in the cause. Fawkes, known for his military prowess gained in the Spanish Netherlands, was integral to the plot's execution. Known for his expertise in explosives, Fawkes was the man chosen to execute the most critical part of the plan. His experience with gunpowder made him the ideal candidate for what was to come. The conspirators initially leased a house near the Parliament, planning to tunnel their way to the House of Lords. However, their strategy changed when a golden opportunity presented itself. Thomas Percy, a distant relative of the Earl of Northumberland, exploiting his high-ranking connections, managed to lease a cellar directly beneath the House of Lords. The acquisition of the cellar beneath the House of Lords was a critical and cunning move by the conspirators. Guy Fawkes, under the alias John Johnson, played a pivotal role in this phase. He posed as a servant to Thomas Percy. The cellar, originally used for coal storage, was soon filled with 36 barrels of gunpowder, enough to reduce the Parliament to ruins. The placement of the barrels was meticulously planned, with Fawkes, using his expertise, orchestrating their arrangement and planning the ignition. As the day of the state opening of Parliament drew near, the conspirators waited with bated breath. Beneath the bustling activity of one of the most important buildings in the land lay barrels of gunpowder, a secret that held the potential to change the course of English history. The Gunpowder Plot was more than an assassination attempt. It was a bid to ignite a Catholic uprising across England. By annihilating the king and the Protestant aristocracy, the conspirators aimed to create a power vacuum, paving the way for a Catholic monarch. It was a daring and desperate bid to end decades of religious persecution. In the minds of the conspirators, the plot was a desperate, last resort to end the suffering of English Catholics. It was a plan born out of oppression, a dramatic and dangerous leap in the dark aimed at revolutionizing the religious and political landscape of the nation. As the 5th of November drew near, a mysterious letter found its way to Lord Monteagle, a Catholic nobleman. The letter, cryptic in its wording, hinted at a dire plot against the Parliament and urged Monteagle to stay away. The origins of this letter remain a subject of historical debate, but its impact was immediate and profound. Monteagle, sensing the gravity of the warning, promptly delivered the letter to Secretary of State Robert Cecil. The wheels of investigation began to turn, setting in motion events that would lead to the unraveling of the Gunpowder Plot. In the early hours of November 5th, the cellars beneath the Parliament were searched. There, authorities found Guy Fawkes, posing as John Johnson, standing guard over the barrels of gunpowder. Fawkes, caught red-handed, was arrested, and the plot was foiled just in time to prevent a catastrophe. Fawkes, steadfast in his resolve, initially withheld information during his interrogation. However, under the duress of torture, he eventually confessed and revealed the names of his fellow conspirators. His capture marked the beginning of the end for the Gunpowder Plot. The revelation of the plot sparked a nationwide manhunt. The other conspirators, upon hearing of Fawkes' capture, fled, attempting to incite a rebellion as they went. However, the support they hoped for never materialized. The remaining plotters, including Robert Catesby, were eventually cornered. In a final, desperate standoff, Catesby and several others were killed. Those captured were tried and executed, their plans for revolution and retribution ending in tragedy and failure. Following the foiled Gunpowder Plot, the surviving conspirators were swiftly brought to trial. Among them were Thomas Wintour and Ambrose Rookwood, each playing a crucial role in the conspiracy. Wintour, a well-educated man fluent in several languages, was instrumental in the early planning stages and recruitment for the plot. Ambrose Rookwood, known for his wealth and loyalty to the Catholic cause, provided much-needed financial support and resources. The executions, carried out in January 1606, were public spectacles of brutality intended to deter any similar acts of treason. The conspirators, including Wintour and Rookwood, faced a gruesome end, hanged, drawn, and quartered, their fates witnessed by large, somber crowds. The Gunpowder Plot had a profound and lasting impact on the Catholic community in England. In its wake, the government, driven by fear and suspicion, imposed even stricter laws against Catholics. These laws further curtailed their religious freedoms and exacerbated the already prevalent anti-Catholic sentiments. Catholics found themselves under increased scrutiny, their loyalty to the crown constantly questioned. The plot not only deepened the religious divide in England, but also left a legacy of mistrust and fear that would persist for generations. In the aftermath of the plot, November 5th was declared a day of public thanksgiving. Guy Fawkes Night, as it came to be known, evolved into an annual commemoration, marked by bonfires, fireworks, and the burning of Guy Fawkes' effigies, symbolizing the failure of the plot and the triumph of the king over treason. Today, Guy Fawkes Night is a blend of history and tradition, a night of festivities that belies its somber origins. It serves as a reminder of a time when religious and political tensions nearly led to a moment of catastrophic destruction, a reminder of the delicate balance between faith, loyalty, and the law. The Gunpowder Plot of 1605 stands as a pivotal moment in British history, emblematic of the intense struggle for religious freedom and power. It occurred at a time when religious identity was inextricably linked to political allegiance, and the failure of the plot had profound implications for religious expression and policy in England. Historians view the Gunpowder Plot as a critical juncture in the ongoing conflict between Catholics and Protestants, a struggle that shaped much of England's social and political landscape. The plot's failure reinforced the Protestant hold on power and led to stricter control over Catholic practices. In British culture, the legacy of the Gunpowder Plot has permeated through centuries. It has been immortalized in works of literature and art, serving as a source of inspiration and intrigue. The plot story is retold in various forms, each iteration exploring themes of conspiracy, betrayal, and the fine line between heroism and villainy. Today, the Gunpowder Plot finds relevance in discussions about terrorism and religious extremism. It raises enduring questions about the lengths to which individuals will go for their beliefs and the impact of such actions on society. Guy Fawkes, once a conspirator in a failed plot, has evolved into a cultural icon, symbolizing resistance against tyranny and oppression. His image, particularly the stylized mask, has been adopted worldwide by various groups and movements, transcending its original context. The Gunpowder Plot's narrative is a complex tapestry of ambition, desperation, and intrigue. Its impact on British history and culture is profound, reminding us of the volatile interplay between religion, politics, and power. The plot and its aftermath highlight the dangers of extremism and the consequences of actions driven by ideological fervor. As we reflect on the Gunpowder Plot, we are left with a story that resonates through the ages, a reminder of the complexities of human history and the enduring struggle for freedom and justice.